Hey everyone, this is Pete. Now welcome back to Atari ST A to Z, a series of short playthroughs of Atari ST games, some which I grew up with and some which are new to me. Today's game is Jupiter Probe, which was a 1987 release by Microdeal, developed by the ever-reliable Steve Back, with the graphics by Chris Q and music by the legendary Rob Hubbard. Chris Q is not someone I've come across before, but looking his name up on Atari Mania, it doesn't seem he did a lot of things over time. He also worked on the shuttle simulators that Microdeal put out at various points, but aside from that and this, he's not a particularly prolific graphic artist. So the plot of the game Jupiter Probe concerns a band of aliens who are living on the surface of Jupiter. Science wasn't the strong point of many 1980s arcade game narratives. And of course they're planning to destroy Earth. It's your job to supposedly take photographs, although that's not any part of the game mechanics whatsoever, and of course blow everything up. It had a relatively mediocre reception on its original release. The advent of the 16-bit platforms caused a lot of reviewers to think that sort of gaming should have probably moved on from shoot-'em-ups by this point and provide more complex experiences. ST Action noted that it lacks many features and becomes dull and repetitive after only a few sittings, and that it represents nothing of outstanding merit. Sounds like fun. So let's go play Jupiter Probe.
Okay, here we are with Jupiter Probe by Microdeal, with graphics by Chris Q. I vaguely remember playing this back in the day, but it's one of those ST games that our original copy of which seems to have disappeared somewhere, so I'm not sure what's happened to that. But my brother definitely reviewed this back in the day. And I remember it being a fairly unremarkable shoot 'em up, but perfectly competent at what it does. And like a lot of Microdeal stuff, it has some solid music in the background. Also displays a spectacular lack of understanding of what Jupiter is. With all this lush greenery and rivers on the surface. River Death. Mutation. Don't know what that means. I think that might be giving us advance warning of the sort of types of enemies that are coming towards us, I guess. Oh, we're gonna go right from the beginning again. We have fun times. I think there is actually a bomb button you can use as well. Spacebar, that's it. Okay, so the screen is getting a bit overwhelming. You can actually bomb and destroy everything. Now, some of those bits of speech are actually telling me that I'm getting power-ups from somewhere. I'm not entirely sure how I'm acquiring those, but there was definitely a shield one that protected me from dying there. Oop. Yeah, this is actually pretty competent. I kind of get the argument that reviewers made at the time, which is that shoot-'em-ups were at the time a type of game that was very much associated with the 8-bit era. And so I do sort of understand why they would say that sort of they expected better from the ST. But at the same time, I think that was doing some pretty competent games a bit of a disservice. Because although this isn't anything especially remarkable, it's a solidly designed shoot 'em up. It moves smoothly, the controls are pretty good. It's not one of those games that just flings random arrangements of enemies at you. This is actually sort of a pre-scripted and choreographed one that you can memorize and learn your way through. Oh, it is tricky though. And getting sick back to the start of the level every time sucks. Got some pretty solid use of the ST sound chip going on though. That music is not interfering with the gameplay, and we're actually getting sound effects that aren't really interfering with the music too much as well. I think that's at least partly because the sound effects are actually kept fairly minimal. But there's just enough to give you a bit of helpful feedback. Right, yeah, this is definitely predefined layouts, and the speech seems to be giving you cues as to what type of attack wave you're going to be fighting next. So there's like one that sounds like formation. That's where you get lots of the enemies that move in formation. Mutation is those large enemies that take multiple hits to destroy. Bit late on the bomb there. Oh, that's a tricky lot to get through. That might be a time for another bomb. Alright, yeah, this is not bad at all. Let's give it another go. And I'm definitely digging the background music. Oh! I could feel myself moving straight into that bullet as well. So, from doing this series, I've actually become quite a fan of Microdeal's early stuff. I mean, I already liked a fair amount of the stuff they put out already. So, stuff like Airball, which we've previously seen on here. Gold Runner, which we haven't looked at yet, but I was always a big fan of back in the day. Gold Runner 2 as well was very good. Slagon, which we've looked at as well. Electronic Pool was new to me, but I really enjoyed that when we first looked at it. This is a good time. Time Bandit, obviously, my favourite ST game of all time. Yeah, I've come to realise that they put out some really, really solid stuff. And a lot of it was in the early days of the ST as well. So they were a very early supporter of the ST as a gaming platform. And as a productivity platform as well. So they put out a lot of productivity software as well. And very good productivity software from what I recall as well. So Okay, on to stage 2. Bomb! Bombs do clear bullets as well, that's important knowledge. Oh, but they do take a little while to go off. They do take a little while to go off, that makes things a bit awkward. Oh, this is so difficult. This is really tricky, actually. Alright, again. I'd like to get past that bit, because that's hung me up every single time so far. Let's see if we can get through without making a mess of this first bit this time. Whoop. Oh, you dick! That's the classic shoot 'em up response right there. Oh, you can hold down the fire button. I wish I had discovered that sooner. River death. Yeah, the more I'm playing this, the more I'm actually feeling this is actually a pretty solidly designed game. Nothing we haven't seen before, of course, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's how you handle that bit. Yes. Less flailing around like a moron actually tends to have a better result, oddly enough. Oh, I don't like this lot though. It's a good place to use a bomb. Right, let's see if we can plow through the bit that kills me every time this time. Alright, quick. Ooh, quick. Oh! Didn't even see what hit me there. Ooh. Right, this is the last try, I promise. I appear to have reached my skill ceiling. To put it mildly. Death to you all.
Sonic. Mutation. Formation.
Bomb.
Sonic.
I think with the amount of bombs it throws at you there, I think there's basically sections where you're supposed to use a bomb in order to progress. That would make sense.
Sonic.
Wish I could make out what any of that speech was saying. But that's not at all unusual for early Atari ST digitized sound.
Mutation.
My family always used to describe it as the mouthful of cornflakes effect. Oh!
Sonic. Mutation.
Oh no! This is so hard!
Sonic. Mutation.
Die! Die, please! Please die! Bombs don't appear to work on the big enemies. Well, there we are. I used all my bombs on them. I'm not even convinced I actually crashed it or anything. But anyway, I got past that bit. And then died immediately afterwards. But I got past that bit, and that's the important thing. Anyway, that was Microdeal Jupiter Probe from 1987 for Atari ST. Programmed by Steve Beck, who we've seen a few times on this series before. And Chris Q, who only did a couple of things. As I say, I believe the Microdeal Shuttle Simulator is the only other thing to my knowledge that he's worked on. But there you go. Anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.